Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Sue Moulton, director from Bosco in New Hampshire, and today is January 17th, 2018. And Anna asked me to share how I ended up in the top 100. And I've been in the top 100 really even before they started the top 100, probably since I went full-time 6 years ago with Pampered Chef. So a little backstory. I come from a very small town in central New Hampshire. We're very rural. And I hate to cook. So that's the joke at my shows, is that you too can be a Pampered Chef consultant and really not even like to cook. I've learned to cook over the years. Part of my story at my show was I had to cook because I had children and they wanted to eat 3 times a day. So I had to figure out how to cook. The reason I love Pampered Chef was they were able to show me ways to get healthy meals on the table in 25 minutes or less. And to me, that was such a value that I got really excited. And if you've met me in person, I'm an easily excitable person. If something is a good thing, I will share it with you. So when somebody showed me the chicken bruschetta pasta and the deep dish covered baker in 16 minutes, I was like, oh my God, you have to learn how to do this. This is like the easiest meal that you can cook for your family. And you can buy a roasted chicken. You don't even have to cook your chicken. And I was just super excited about it. And my excitement is really what carries my business, I think, because I mean, some people call it passion. You just have to know what it is that really hits your button. And I started just like Anna did. I was a part-time consultant for 7.5 years. I wanted to buy cute shoes. The joke is we called it, is it necessary money in my household? Because I was buying all kinds of cute little shoes, and I was a stay-at-home mom with 2 kids, and it wasn't in the budget. And so my husband had a meltdown one day, and he said, is that necessary? And I was like, well, yes. And he was like, then you need a job. You need to be able to, pay for your cute shoes. And so I ended up starting Pampered Chef just for that fun money. So don't exclude people at your shows that may just want a massage once a month, or maybe they want, just a little fun money. Stay-at-home moms are a really good resource, and we need to understand that as a business owner, 80% of our business are going to be consultants that do 1 to 4 shows a month. So those are going to be the majority of our business. So we need a lot of those type of people. And I was one of those. I joke, I was a dormant consultant for 7.5 years. And then I wasn't attending team meetings. I really don't think I ever knew about team meetings or cluster meetings or whatever they called them back then. But I got invited to a team meeting by a friend of mine that I met at a Director Bound series, and she said, you should come to our team meeting. Karen Batty is fabulous. And so I didn't know who Karen Batty was. Once I met her, I realized how fabulous she is, and she's a sister director to me. And so I went to her team meeting, and I thought, oh my God, she is just like me. I could totally do this. And so I started listening to the things that she said. So my first advice is that if people are watching this video and you are not attending your trainings, you are missing out. You might go to a training and only come away with 1 or 2 aha moments, but those 1 or 2 things that you can implement over the next couple months will begin turning the tide of your organization and the tide of your business. So attend meetings that your upline has. There are nuggets in there. And sometimes it's the same nugget you're hearing again and again. For me, I would have to hear it 3 times before I was like, oh yeah, I think I heard her say that before. Oh yeah, I don't think I'm still doing that. Oh, maybe I should start doing full service checkout or whatever it is that they happen to be sharing about that month. So after 3 months of attending her team meetings, I started to see a huge difference in my personal bookings. And so she told me that I needed to come to the January team meeting. And I thought, well, I've come to all the others. Why wouldn't I come to January? But I didn't understand that there was a trip announcement. And she said, you need to come and hear about the trip announcement. And I was totally floored. I had no idea that we could earn trips. So don't assume that you have consultants on your team that are reading the website, that are clicking around on all the little buttons and all of that, because I was really computer illiterate. I got a Facebook account simply because I wanted to run my business, but I didn't even have Facebook before Pampered Chef. Or until I went full time with Pampered Chef. So, make sure that you explain to your team members all these different things that are available to them, because a lot of times they don't know about that. So I went and I heard about that year, it was the trip to Spain, France, and Italy on a Mediterranean cruise. And it was 140,000 points to get on that. That was like 6 or 7 years ago. I came home from that and I was fired up. Like, I had a goal. Like, I'm going on this trip. I don't care what it takes. Now, I was a consultant at that point doing maybe 4 shows a month, maybe 5. And Karen sat me down and she said, Sue, you realize there was a requirement. You had to have 12 qualified recruits in order to earn that trip. It was a requirement of the trip. I'd never recruited anybody before. So that goal that they set for me, which was you had to have 12, seemed enormous. So Karen said, you realize that at that point you needed 6 to be a director. You're going to be a director in the process. So she said, how long do you think it's going to be before you're a director? And I was like, I have no idea. And she goes, 3 months. It shouldn't take you more than 3 months to be a director. And now what do we have? Fast track, 3 months, right? So sure enough, it only took me 3 months because she said exactly what Pampered Chef teaches, which is book 8. 8 will make you great. So book 8 shows, hold at least 6, have 10 guests at each show, and then a third. So that puts you in front of 60 people a month. A third of them about 20 will have some interest in the business opportunity. A third of them will actually talk to you, and a third of them, so 1 or 2 a month, will actually join your team. And that first year with Pampered Chef, when I changed 3 things with my business, I recruited 25 people. So I went from nobody to 25 people in 1 year. I call myself a brand new consultant. I mean, I've been doing 1 show a month for 7.5 years, but I decided to add more shows to my calendar, and I decided that this trip was non-optional. I had to be on the trip. So setting a goal, whether it's to be top 100, is absolutely critical. They make it really easy to track top 100 now by clicking that thing once a month, and you can see you're updating where you're at. But I think it's more important that you set a sales and a recruiting goal because then you'll have an idea of where you're at. Tracking it is going to, again, be critical. I learned about excellence awards. Again, I joke and I share this because there are other people out there like me, not because I want to make myself look stupid, but like I had no idea what excellence awards was because I never clicked the recognition button on the page because that wasn't on my radar. I needed money. So I started the business to earn money. I didn't start because I wanted all the bling and all the extra stuff. Now I got to tell you, getting a gift card from Tiffany's was pretty darn exciting, but I didn't start the business for that. So when my upline Randy called me and she said, oh my God, you're going to earn excellence award. I was like, what's that? Again, I had no idea. So she walked me through where on the website you can find excellence awards and also an elite seller. So when I learned that I could earn an extra percentage on everything I sold by selling a minimum of $6,000 a month and having a rolling $75,000 in sales, that I was going to get an extra 2% on everything I sold, that became a goal. So if you want to be in the top 100, you need to be an elite seller. So $6,000 a month. Now, I'm a nervous Nelly. My family calls me Chicken Little. So when I set a goal, I always feel like the sky's falling and I'm never going to hit it. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. So 8 wasn't enough for me. I wanted to have 10 shows on my calendar all the time. So I shot for trying to book 10 to 12 so that I would hold 8. Because 6 just wasn't enough for me. I mean, that means I would have had to have $1,000 show every show in order to hit the 6,000, and that just isn't realistic for me here. You know, I'm not one of those girls from New York that have $2,000 shows. Like $1,000 show for me. I mean, I have them, but I mean, I have to bust my butt. You know, the average income in, central New Hampshire is not what it is in some of those larger cities. So for me, I need 8 to 10 shows a month in order to hit 6,000 to 8,000 a month for sales. So bookings is absolutely critical. Then I had to become really intentional about recruiting. And what I mean by that is when Karen told me that there were 3 different things that were going to change the way your business worked, she said, you need to inform and invite during the show. So she talked about a booking slide. I honestly didn't even know what a booking slide was. I raised my hand after she demoed it. I said, where did you find that? How do I order one? There was a girl at the team meeting. She actually heckled me That was not a good thing. I was so new, and I was quiet and shy at the meetings because I didn't know anybody. I felt like a fish out of water there. But my personality type was like, don't you dare heckle me. I'm going to outsell you, girlfriend. So she was like, how can you not know anything about this? What, do you live under a rock? Like, it's on the website. And I just remember thinking, you are being so mean to me. So I found the booking site. I ordered a booking site, and I started talking about bookings at the beginning of my show. Now, I didn't know that the average person talks about bookings in the middle of their show when their food went in the oven. That's what other consultants was doing. I was reading a motivational book, and they said, the first 15 minutes of your presentation, you have everybody's attention. Whatever's most important, talk about it then. So at that point, I needed bookings. So I talked about bookings at the very beginning, all the benefits of bookings, how my host was going to get all this free stuff and half price and discounted and all of that. So I did the booking side at the very beginning of my show when the booking side first came out. The next team meeting I went to, Karen talked about talking about the ticket activity game. And I was like, okay, what's that? And so she showed me how to get the labels that you can print out and put on your catalog if you're too shy to ask the questions. Did you know labels? So did you know that the average consultant, did you know that we can earn trips? Did you know that kind of stuff? And so you could just have your guests read the did you know questions and give them a ticket for it. I used to bring a double deck of playing cards, and I would shuffle them, and I would pass out cards for every question they asked me about the business opportunity. And I tell my new consultants, if you don't know the answer, give them bonus tickets. Oh my God, that's such a great question. I have no idea. 5 tickets for you. I'll get you that answer. So don't be worried that they're going to stump you with a question. But you're answering the questions as if you were a new consultant. So if they say, well, how much money do you make? You respond, as a new consultant, the average new consultant does a $650 show. You earn about $120 per show. You don't have to answer for yourself. You can if you want to. I encourage questions like, what was your highest commission check to date? Because in central New Hampshire, my highest commission check to date was $7,600. And one girl goes, in a month? And I go, yeah. Like, my husband was like, hey, you made more money than I did this month. And I was like, yeah, I know, but I'm not working that hard next month. And he was like, oh yeah, you are. Get out the door. Like, go book some more shows. So he started really seeing it as a business rather than a hobby. And that's one of the things that I encourage people to as well. When you're talking to new consultants, inform them. If you treat this like a hobby, it'll pay you like a hobby. But if you treat this like a business, it'll pay you like a business. So back to top 100. So recruiting was key. The last thing that I learned, which was my 3rd month that I went to a team meeting, was full service checkout. Again, I raised my hand. I said, could you explain what full service checkout is? I don't know what it is. The same girl that heckled me the first time, she started to heckle me a second time. I know that she didn't mean to be mean, but she was like, oh my God, how do you not know this stuff? That was all it took. Because the following month I came back and I had sold like over $6,000 that month. And I think she was selling about 1,000. And she was like, oh my God, how did you do that? And I just looked right at her in front of everybody in the room. And I go, I listened to your leaders and I did what they said because it works. Kind of like, okay, girl, you've been heckling me this whole time that I didn't know this stuff. You knew the stuff and you're not doing it. So the system that Pampered Chef has in place works. I totally believe in the system. And I think that believing in the company that you work for and believing in the system that they've set up and trusting that what they are doing is for the benefit of us, the consultants, really makes a big difference in how you present yourself. So for me, I talk a lot about when I do my 6 weeks to success training, the belief triangle. And the very first national conference I went to, they had a guest speaker, and he said, you need to turn that belief triangle sideways 1 click. And he said, don't just start with belief. And he gave the example of, I can believe that I'm going to get skinny, that if I diet, I'm going to get skinny. And I can put a picture of myself on the fridge that's skinny, and I can go to the fridge every day and go, yep, that's me. I'm going to be skinny. But if I open that fridge and I don't take the actions that I need to take, which is to eat the right foods, I'm never going to get skinny. If I don't take the actions and actually do the exercise, I'm not going to lose the weight and get healthy. And so he talked about, he hired a trainer, and the trainer would tell him, do this exercise. And he would ask, well, why am I doing this exercise? What's it doing for my muscles? Why am I doing it? He goes, you're doing it because I told you to do it. You hired me to get you results. Do what I say. So it didn't mean that he had to believe that the results were going to work. He just had to do the actions. And so that's what I did. When Karen said, book 8, hold 6, a third, a third, a third. Ask every person every time at full service checkout if they're interested in the business opportunity. That was the hardest part, but that changed my business. And that's what I really encourage you, Anna, and other people to do is your hostesses are your number one recruit lead, but there are recruit leads at the show every single time. And I'm going to give you a couple quick examples. I was at a show one time doing the ticket activity game. People were asking lots of questions. I give out a little door prize, and I asked everybody at checkout whether, gosh, Anna, you had such great questions. Are you interested in, learning more about the business opportunity? I'd love to have you on my team. No. You got to get used to no. I call it rhino skin. There's a book about, growing thick skin like rhinoceros, and just don't let it bother you. So there's this quiet, shy girl, Jen, that came up to checkout. She hadn't asked a single question during the ticket activity game. She hardly asked any questions at all during the show. She was just quiet as a mouse. But I asked her as well, Jen, have you ever considered the Pampered Chef opportunity? Would you be interested in earning a little extra money? She goes, yeah, I'm ready to sign up. Now, I tried to keep my mouth shut and my eyes from going like, oh my God. But I did say, gosh, you didn't ask any questions during the ticket activity game. Tell me why. And she said, because everybody else asked the questions I was going to ask. So just because people are quiet and shy, I would have missed a recruit lead if I had not asked everybody at that show. I'm going to give you another example. And I'm sharing this because this video is I'm going to put this video out to other people. And you need to know that we're all the same. We all prejudge at the beginning. I prejudged. I was at a show. I asked everybody but the mother of the hostess. She was wearing a Rolex watch. She was driving a Mercedes. She was dressed like in Talbots. She just looked fabulous. Didn't look like she needed any extra money. And I thought, why would I ask her, right? When I got to the last person at that show, I had asked Bethany, I'm like, Bethany, do you know of anybody that could use some extra income? I'm looking for people that would be interested in joining my team. And she said, well, did you ask Corey Ann's mom? She just lost her job and hasn't been able to find one. So I had prejudged that Corey Ann didn't need the money because she all looked great on the outside. Now, she did need the money. And I was too chicken back then to go and ask her. I didn't have the confidence that what I was offering her would be of interest to her. I felt like I needed to build a business first before I had that confidence. And I encourage everybody out there, you don't need to know everything to have people join the team, because I'm going to go back to the point. Pampered Chef has a system. The system works. If you do the actions, remember the belief triangle? If you take the actions, which is inform and invite at your shows, do a booking slide, do full service checkout, ask everyone, the results begin to happen. You get bookings, you get sales, people join your team. Once the results happen, that actually creates the belief. I didn't believe that I could be a director, but Karen Batty told me, you'll be a director in 3 months if you do this. So I started doing what she said, the 3-2-1 that Pampered Chef talks about, 3 contacts a day, 2 shows a week, 1 recruit a month. Guess what? When you're doing 2 shows a week, 1 recruit a month, if you're asking everybody, happens. The first recruit I had, here was my recruiting spiel. This is how great I was. Carrie, do you know of anybody who might be interested in the business opportunity? I was asking the hostess. I wanted to recruit her, but I was too scared to recruit her. She goes, yeah, me. So she basically recruited herself. So there isn't any special words. That first year that I recruited 25 people, I was just so stinking excited about the business and earning income. I was like, oh my God, I earned $1,200 this month. If I can do this, you can do this. That literally was my recruiting line for a year. If I can do this, you can do this. I would say I'd be in the big cities in New Hampshire or bigger cities, and I'd be like, oh my God, I'm from Bosco, New Hampshire. If I can be successful at this, anyone can be successful at this. And so that recruiting line worked because guess what? People were like, oh my God, I can do better than her. And again, remember, I didn't cook, so I made a lot of mistakes at my shows. And I used to hide those mistakes at my shows early on, and I learned quickly that you really need to spotlight those mistakes. So if people say to you, oh my God, I could never do what you do, you're so good, that's the kiss of death. You do not want to hear that. So here's what I started doing, because I was hearing that a lot. I started pointing out my mistakes, and then I gave the recruiting flyer. So I give out the host flyer, the guest special flyer, the recruiting flyer, and the recipe to different people. And my spiel is, okay, you can volunteer or you can be voluntold. If you volunteer, I'll give you 10 tickets. If I have to voluntold you, you only get 5. But somebody's going to read my recipe for me, because otherwise you're not eating. And so people laugh at that, but it's like true. I'm like, I can't talk and cook at the same time. Like, come on, people. Like, you already know I can't cook. So I'm very laid back and fun at my shows. I tell my team members, if you're not having fun at your shows, they're not having fun. You should be having a blast. You should be relaxed and enjoy yourself. Because that transfers to the people there. So the recruiting promotion, I say your job is the easiest job here, because your job is to watch for my mistakes. And when I make a mistake, you're going to say, you too can be a Pampered Chef consultant. And then you're going to read the promotion. And everybody laughs. And usually people are like, well, how will I know when you make a mistake? I go, oh, girlfriend, it's pretty obvious. Food hits the floor. I call a strawberry a tomato. I forget an ingredient. Like, it happens at every show. You're going to find one. I said, I haven't had a show yet where somebody sat there quiet. I said, I actually had one show where the lady was like, I'm done. Somebody else has to take over this job. This girl stinks. And so people laugh at that. But what that does is it lets the people in the audience know you don't have to be perfect to be good at your job. Okay. You need to make yourself relatable, because people are going, oh, I'm not as outgoing as Sue, or I can't cook, or I'm shy, or I don't drive. You know, there are all these excuses. And it's our job to know what the typical excuses are and how to overcome those excuses, so that we are overcoming the excuses during our presentation already. So in their mind, they're thinking, I can't get up in front of people. And I'm going, oh my God, I have some quiet, shy people on my team. You would think that they are church mouses, and they are hugely successful with Pampered Chef, because if this type of format, which I call the Rachel Ray, where I cook for you, doesn't work for you, I'm going to teach you how to do station style, where all the guests do the cooking and you don't have to do any of that. And then they go, oh, I guess maybe I'd like to know more about that. So you need to know what the excuses are, because you need team members to hit the top 100. I mean, you can sell yourself to a trip, but in order to be in the top 100, you need to have a balanced business of sales and recruiting. And if you really want to earn income, which I started the business and I didn't recruit really at all the first 7.5 years, because I thought it was going to take business away from me. I did not understand the financial benefit of growing an organization. Nancy Jo Ryan is my upline, and she shared with me how her first year in business, this much of her income was her sales. Second year in her business, this much was her sales and this much was her team sales. And then as time went on, it became very different, that the majority of her income came from her organization and less from her own personal sales. So once I understood that, I stopped being afraid of losing bookings by recruiting people. And again, that is why bookings are the central element of our business. If you need to hold 8 shows a month, then you need to book 10 or maybe 12 shows a month in case you recruit one of those hostesses, because they're going to take all the bookings from that show. So you need to have a strong enough booking schedule in order to recruit successfully. Most people do not recruit because they are afraid to give away their bookings. So here is one of the things I was taught by Julie Aldridge early on, and I think was critical for my organization, because nobody was recruiting in my organization before. I do not give away shows. If I have a show booked with Anna and I am talking with Anna about becoming a consultant, one of 2 things will happen. I will encourage Anna to come to some of my shows and learn how to do her own grand opening show. Or I will come and do Anna's grand opening show, but I am the consultant at that show. She is the hostess at that show. So I am getting paid to leave my house. And then she gets all the bookings from that. Now, I always tell them the average new consultant earns $650 when they walk out the door. The first $650 of your grand opening show will be my commissions. Everything after that, we will hold them, sign you up, and sign them under you as yours. So if she does a $1,500 grand opening show, she's not losing all those sales. $650 goes under my name. Why do I do that? Here's an example. I recruited 8 people in a month. If I left my house 8 times and I never got paid, my husband would be pissed. You can't afford to work an entire month and not earn income. See what I'm saying? And neither can your team. They're in this business, especially if they're doing 1 or 2 shows a month, they're in this business to make money. They can't afford to give the bookings away. They don't understand. And earning a 3% override isn't enough income for them when they first start out. So you need to change the culture on your team where You're the consultant, they're the hostess, and they take either a kick credit. So if their show is over $500, they can take $50 or $25 as a kick credit, or kick credit and all the bookings, or you take the first $650 and they take anything beyond that. And you need to just let them know that. So recruiting is key. Top 100, tracking it. 2 recruits a month is what we had to do in this lead program that Pampered Chef does. Close 8 shows. So if you had to have 8 shows closed, you had to book 10, right? And then you had to have 2 qualified recruits. That is really the key to top 100 in this business. I mean, Anna, you're selling at 80,000 a year. I usually sell at about 100,000 a year. So you're right on track for that. So being in the top 100 where you can actually get an extra day's stay, I love the fact that Hawaii, you know exactly if you're going to get an extra day's stay. 150,000 points, done deal. You're there. You get an extra day in Hawaii. So that's going to be critical for me. Like, I am tracking that from the get-go. So I set, I have a list, 25. I want to recruit 25 people. And so it'll be 25, 24, 23, 22. Top 100. What else do I do? When I recruit, so recruiting again is a big thing. When I recruit, you need to speak belief into people before they believe. So things like, oh my gosh, Anna, you were so helpful with the cooking. You obviously know your way around the kitchen way better than I do. You would be great at this. Have you ever considered taking your love of cooking and earning some extra income on it? So finding the things about the people that would make a good consultant. The hostess, oh my gosh, Sarah, you have 12 guests here. You've already done all the work to this. Do you realize that you would make a phenomenal consultant? I know we talked about it before and you said you weren't interested, but I just want you to know, if you change your mind anytime until I push the submit button on this show, we can get you a $25 or a $50 kit credit, and all the bookings from the show can start your own Pampered Chef business. And if the hostess is considering, they're like, well, I've thought about it, but I'm not sure. At my show, I go, all right, everybody, I want you to write a smiley face on your order form if you would host a show for Anna if she became a consultant, because I personally think she would be phenomenal at this. She would totally rock it. So if you would host a show for Anna, put a smiley face on your paper. And then when the order forms come in, I'm going to go, Anna, you have 6 shows already ready to go. You have a business ready to start. Are you going to do it? Because otherwise I'm taking these bookings and I'm going to earn income off your friends. Why don't we get you started? So again, it's just talking as if they're going to go ahead and do it. So I'm going to just revert back before I open it up for questions and stuff like that. Belief in the company, belief in the system, belief in the structure that Pampered Chef has. You need to know that our CEO, Tracy Britt Cool, is doing everything possible to make our company, cutting edge. You need to believe that Bill Bucklew is coming out with products that are going to make people want our products and make people want to come to shows and get us excited about the products. You need to believe that the sales team, that Gene Jonas and Julie Aldridge and the rest of them are really trying to make us the best we can be, and that they're doing all the research. I mean, they're hiring the best of the best. You know that we got an award for our mobile app. That, like, our tech team is phenomenal. They're making it so that we can run our business from our phones, and they're making it so that we don't have to get bogged down with the day-to-day mundane stuff. They're sending these emails out, and people were getting all in a hurry. Oh, my customers are getting too many emails. This is not good, la, la, la. They're doing market research, people. We have like $1.3 million extra that came on all of our websites simply because Pampered Chef did the work for us. They're following up with our customers because guess what? A lot of us aren't doing it. So trust that what they are doing, and they're not going to get it right every time, but trust that what this company is doing is for your good. And if you believe in the company, you believe in the products, then you need to get behind the mission, right? One meal, one memory at a time. So creating mealtime memories, we need to talk about that. We need to remind people why having dinner together matters. And then we need to talk about why having a cooking class or a cooking show is important. And so Anna had asked me a little bit about my 10 at a time, my pizza class, and I'm just going to wrap up with that. It actually came from Frielle Yen. She's a brilliant chef. I love being around her because she starts talking about cooking. And I'm like, wait, I need you to write that down. I don't know how to make a roast. I don't know what you're doing because I don't cook. I don't know how to cook well. I cook now. I'm much better. People joke all the time. They eat my food and they're like, what do you mean you don't know how to cook? I'm like, well, I still feel like a baby cook. So I love getting around people who really know their way around the kitchen. But what that shows you is that you don't have to be a good cook to be a good Pampered Chef consultant, because I was number, I think, 34 or 35 this year. So Friel talked about she's having classes in her house. So I want to share that my bookings have dried up. I have like one booking on February's calendar. So that happens to all of us. You need to know that top 100 people struggle with bookings. You need to know that I joked, I don't know, 3 years ago, I called my friend Karen Batty. I'm like, yeah, I'm out of business next month. Like, I have nothing on the horizon. And she's like, well, you know what you need to do. You need to pick up the phone. You need to call your past hosts. You need to call customers. So I'll give some suggestions on that. But one of the ideas is to create an environment where your guests come to your house, that they see you using the tools, because don't we know that they buy what they see, right? So if we don't have it like a going to somebody's cooking class at their house, they feel obligated to buy. But we have them come to our house, and we're going to do soup, stews, and chilies. I'm going to do pizza, all things pizza. So that I'm going to cook a cold veggie pizza on a stone. I'm going to cook a pizza in the oven on a rock grill stone, and I'm going to cook a Nutella strawberry pizza in my double burner grill pan. So I'm going to use 3 different power tools, and I'm going to cook 3 different pizzas: an appetizer, a main dish, and a dessert. And everybody's going to help me. Now, have I figured out the details to this? No. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it out there, and if they sign up, they have to bring an ingredient. So if they don't come, we don't have dinner. You know what I mean? There's no cost to the class, but you have to bring an ingredient. So I'll do like a poll, and they can sign up for what ingredient they want to bring. But like, you need to know, if you sign up to come, you need to be here, or you need to PayPal me the money so I can go out and buy that ingredient for you, because I'm not going to feed 25 people every month at my house for free, because I am in business to make money, not to spend money. So, I mean, we invest money, obviously, and I'll have the bulk of, you know, the hard ingredients, but still, that will be one of the ideas. I'm going to do all things in the deep covered baker / rock crock for those people who have those and are still only making a lava cake. 10 at a time. This is the old power cooking is what it is. Power cooking was a thing that Pampered Chef had. They teach you how to do chicken or hamburger, and you basically scramble up hamburger with onions and garlic, and then you can feed 1 meal to the people at the show, and then you freeze 9 other meals, and you teach people that are really busy how to prep for the week on a Saturday or a Sunday. Now, to me, I always thought that that was just normal. I guess I had friends that were super frugal, and being a stay-at-home mom living on 1 income in central New Hampshire was, you know, you never went out to Dunkin' Donuts. You never had coffee. You never ate out. That was just the life we lived growing up, you know, raising 2 kids. And we learned to go to Sam's Club and buy bulk hamburger and to scramble it all up with the onions and the pepper and to put it in Ziploc baggies and freeze them flat, because then you could just pull it out and put it on nachos, put it in your spaghetti sauce, put it in American chop suey, you know, start your taco, because the majority of the time is getting the meat or the protein cooked. So we teach people how to do that. I realized that that is not common knowledge, and you need to know that that's not common knowledge. I had a boss, and she would go out and buy 2 chicken breasts at a time at like $3.50 per pound. And I was like, Nicole, you can buy it for $1.99 a pound and buy it in bulk and just freeze them individually in 2 if that's what you need. She had no idea. She had no idea that she was wasting money. So those are the tips that you need to teach stay-at-home moms or people that are on a tight budget. So we have a solution for everybody. A lot of consultants out there use excuses. Oh, they can't afford Pampered Chef. Well, they need to learn our cooking saving tips, or they're too busy. Busy people get things done. The majority of my team work a 40-hour-a-week job and do Pampered Chef. Oh, they don't drive. My top seller this year totally shocked me. She's a virtual consultant. I have got to get on board with these virtual shows. I am not as tech savvy as she is. I've done a few, but I am not that great at that. But that is where the future is. I don't think the cooking show will ever go away, because that experience is really the most important part. But there is a huge chunk of business that I am missing out on by not doing these virtual shows. So to be top 100, you need to have a balanced business. You need to have 8 shows. You need to recruit 2 people a month. You need to have good customer service where you're offering more than just sales. You need to be giving them cooking tips. You need to be giving them good customer service. You need to be doing a host appreciation or a customer appreciation event. You need to be thanking them. And you need to be building a relationship with your customers so that you have a wealth of people that when you run out of bookings, you can get on the phone and call. So I'm going to give one quick booking tip while we're on. So, you run out of bookings and you're like, who to call? So you call your past hostesses from last February, and then the February before that, and then the February before that. Let's say I had this hostess, Diane, and she wasn't going to book a show this year. She has too much going on. So I pulled up Diane's show, and I started calling the guests at Diane's show. And I said, hey, Sarah, this is Sue Moulton with the Pampered Chef. We met at Diane's show last year. Diane's not going to be doing her show this year, so I was thinking maybe you would like to get all the free, the half price, and the discounted products and invite the gang back over again, and we can do it at your house this year. What do you think? I'm doing this great football theme, game day. I'm also doing a Valentine's wine, cheese, and chocolate, and I'm doing a sip and dip show. What of those do you think your friends might be interested in? So what did I do? I went to the customer. I pitched, she get the free products. I pitched a theme show, not, hey, would you like to host a show? But, hey, what do you think your friends would like? That's not a yes or no question. She has to pick one of those, or then she has to come up with an excuse of, oh, no, I don't think we'll be ready. I'm not interested. And that would be fine. But then you work your way through the whole show, calling people to see who would be interested in having a show, because Diane's not having her annual show this year. See what I'm saying? So there are ways to get bookings that if your past hostess isn't interested. I'm the queen of out and about. I'll tell you, like, I talk about my business everywhere I go. I wear logo gear everywhere I go. I have logos on my car. So I've come out of Olive Garden before and had notes on my car for people that wanted to book shows. I've been called driving down the highway on my cell phone wanting to know if we're hiring. So if you don't have logos on your car, you really should get that. You need to let people know that you're in business. Treat your business like a business, and it'll begin paying you like a business. Okay, so I'm going to stop recording.